Young Ace said he had nothing to do with Foolio's murder. But what if I told you, a video just leaked that made his own lawyer quit? This isn't a theory. This is real, and once you see what's on that footage, you'll understand why. The courtroom went silent. They thought they got away with the perfect hit: no shell casings, burner phones, military-style moves. But one video changed everything. And the moment Young Ace's lawyer saw it, he walked out. You're about to find out why. A man on video laughs while acting out Foolio's murder. Gun sounds, hand motions, no remorse. That clip just surfaced. And the man. He's from Young Ace's circle. This is no longer just about street beef. This is a case that could destroy careers, reputations, and lives. Some people believe Young Ace had something to do with Foolio's death, but Ace has always said he had nothing to do with it. From the very beginning, he denied any connection. Still, as the trial for Foolio's murder moves forward, shocking, new video evidence has come out, and it is so serious that Ace's own lawyer quit the case. This new footage has flipped everything upside down. It shows a direct connection between Young Ace and the murder of Foolio, something we had not seen this clearly before. And now, the entire case could be heading in a completely new direction. I am about to break down exactly what was caught on camera, where it came from, and what it might mean for the upcoming trial. So let's get into it. Now first, this was not some grainy video from a doorbell camera or a shaky clip taken inside a dark nightclub. This footage was different. It was high quality, raw, and taken from the inside, straight from a device owned by one of the suspects. That means it was not leaked from police. It came from someone involved. And that changes everything. In the clip, you can clearly see a person who looks just like someone from Young Ace's inner circle. He is not just watching the night Foolio got killed, he is reliving it. He is talking about it in detail, laughing, acting out the scene, and even bragging about it. It is chilling. Legal experts say this kind of evidence almost never shows up in a courtroom. They called it a once-in-a-generation moment because of how powerful it is. Why? Because it is the type of footage that can destroy a defense case before it even begins. Think about it. A jury does not just hear what happened, they see it with their own eyes. The emotion, the pride, the lack of remorse, it is all there. You cannot talk your way around that kind of video. Defense attorneys know it, too. In fact, as soon as this clip was introduced during a private emergency meeting in court, Young Ace's own lawyer reportedly said, "This case is undefendable." Less than an hour later, he walked away from the case. Even though Young Ace has not been officially charged, the fact that his legal team quit speaks volumes. It shows how close this video hits to home. Because it is not just about guilt anymore, it is about proximity to guilt. Who was involved? Who knew what? And who celebrated after? Prosecutors do not need him to pull the trigger to prove he played a role. And that is what makes this leaked footage so dangerous for Ace. From the start, he has denied having anything to do with Foolio's death. He said people like to blame him for everything. But this time he is innocent. But now, with this clip out in the open, that story is harder to believe. Especially when the person in the video is so close to him and seems to be speaking from first-hand knowledge of the murder. Let's talk about the details. According to sources familiar with the footage, the suspect on screen replays the timeline of the killing, points out how it all went down, and even talks about what each person did that night. He describes how Foolio was tracked, where they found him, and what the shooters brought. The suspect even imitates holding the weapon and pretends to fire, making noises and laughing while doing it. It is more than just disturbing. It is damaging. This type of behavior tells the court everything it needs to know about the mindset behind the crime. There was no regret, no fear, just pride. That attitude can completely change how a jury views not only the people on trial, but anyone connected to them, especially someone with public influence like Young Ace. And let's not forget, this video does not exist in a vacuum. It adds to a mountain of other suspicious behavior. From the lyrics in Ace's songs that many believe took shots at Foolio, to the viral live stream where his mother mocked Foolio's name just weeks after the murder, there is now a clear pattern forming. Prosecutors love patterns. They use them to prove motive and intent. And this footage might just be the final piece they need to push the case toward a conspiracy. That means more names could be added to the case. More charges could come, because if the state decides this was not just a street-level crime but an organized hit carried out by multiple people working together, they are going to go after everyone who played a part, including those who might have never pulled a gun. This is no longer just a story about one rapper beefing with another. It is about what happens when online threats, street violence, and real-world revenge collide. It is about the toxic cycle of clout and credibility, where some people use music, live streams, and social media not just to talk but to warn, to threaten, and sometimes even to confess. In a time when every phone is a camera, every message is traceable, and every action leaves a digital trail, nothing stays hidden for long. And now, with this leaked footage, the courtroom is no longer relying on second-hand witness statements or blurry camera footage. They have clear, undeniable proof of attitude, of involvement, and of celebration. So what happens next? That depends on how deep this connection to Yungeen Ace really goes and how far prosecutors are willing to push it. But one thing is for sure, with this new footage, things just got a whole lot more serious. Stay tuned, because this case is far from over. This case was already full of drama. 5 people were charged in the killing of Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones. He was shot and killed in a hotel parking lot in Tampa while celebrating his 26th birthday on June 23, 2024. Cameras caught nearly everything from a security mode to multiple surveillance feeds. There were 3 shooters, 2 cars, coordinated moves like a military operation, and even brass catchers on the rifles to avoid leaving shell casings. 1 person was killed, 3 were hurt, and the case, which was already strong, now feels unbreakable. By July 2025, the 5 people charged, Sean Gathright, Isaiah Chance, Davon Murphy, Rashad Murphy, and Alicia Andrews, were facing serious charges. These include first-degree murder, attempted murder, and hiding evidence. Florida is seeking the death penalty for 4 of them. Only Alicia Andrews, who is accused of helping track Foolio but not actually shooting, is not facing that sentence, at least, not yet. And this video might be the final piece of the puzzle. A source who was in a private emergency meeting between the judge and the defense team said Ace's lawyer admitted the case could not be defended anymore. No public statements were made, but less than an hour after the video was revealed, Yungeen Ace's lawyer quit. To be clear, Yungeen Ace has not been officially charged with murder. He is not one of the 5 on trial. But this raw, uncensored video could link him more closely to what happened that night, and that could be very bad for him. Because now, it is not just about who pulled the trigger. It is about who was close to the crime, and the prosecutors are paying attention to every detail. Keep in mind, this is not the first time a suspect in Foolio's case has made a major mistake. Rashad Murphy fired his lawyers and decided to represent himself even though it is a death penalty case. His brother, Davon Murphy, is also facing serious trouble. During questioning, one of the suspects actually acted out the shooting right there in the room. He pretended to hold a rifle, made gunshot noises with his mouth, moved around like he was at the scene, and kept repeating it. When asked why, he never ran off to Mexico. His answer shocked everyone. He said, "The best way to hide from a white man is in plain sight." He had been hiding out in abandoned homes and staying with different women. And he kept repeating that same line. "I didn't need Mexico. The best place to hide is right in the open." Now, with this new leaked video out, it feels like every single suspect is doing the prosecutor's job for them. Sources close to the case say the video shows more than just the crime. It catches the suspects laughing about it, making fun of it, and possibly even exposing people higher up in ATK and 1202 gangs that have long been linked to each other. That brings us back to Yungeen Ace. Many have accused him of using his rap career to give street credibility to ATK, the gang he is allegedly tied to. He has released songs like Do It and Game Over, which fans believe were sneak disses aimed at Foolio, and just weeks after Foolio's death, Yungeen Ace's mother appeared on a live stream, joking about it, saying Foolio's name out loud while mocking him. Her words, "Who you smoke?" That is not just disrespect. That is making fun of someone's death, and it happened right after the murder. And when it comes to court, things like that matter. Prosecutors are not just looking at one act, they are showing a pattern. Florida officials believe this was not just a random shooting, they are calling it a planned attack, with multiple people, multiple gangs, and all of it fed by social media beef and the desire for clout. That dangerous cycle, beef for likes, music for reputation, is now crashing down hard, and even lawyers are walking out in shock. If you want to see just how serious things are for Foolio's killers, look at the evidence stacked against them. Foolio was celebrating his birthday on June 23, 2024, when he was ambushed and killed in what police say was a gang hit. But the planning started days earlier. The suspects thought they had the perfect plan. but they left behind digital footprints everywhere. On June 21, 2024, Alicia Andrews was caught sending messages to book an Airbnb under Rashad Murphy's name. The dates: June 22 to June 24. That was no last-minute booking, that was the setup. The FBI later called it what it was: a straight-up murder conspiracy. This was no sloppy street hit. These five, Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, Sean Gath, Rashad Murphy, and Davon Murphy, were planning a military-style operation. And one of the sickest parts, they used Foolio's own Instagram posts to find him. He had been sharing where he was celebrating clubs like Teasers and Truth 18. That is how they tracked him. The way they moved was intense. Two cars were used: a silver Chevy Cruze with Isaiah Chance driving and Alicia Andrews riding along, and a black Chevy Impala, mostly driven by Sean Gathright. One crew played lookout and fed information, while the other carried the shooters and weapons. Later, license plate reader data showed the two cars traveling from Jacksonville to Foolio, across state lines. But it gets deeper. These guys were using burner phones and switching devices. Isaiah Chance used Alicia's phone to talk to Sean, while his own phone was pinging near the crime scene too. That kind of coordination is next level. It was like a street version of a tactical mission. The way these suspects used multiple phones and devices shows they were not just acting on impulse. They clearly knew how police track people using cell towers and tried to stay one step ahead. Surveillance footage from several places, Teasers, Truth 18, and the hotel where Foolio was killed, shows them moving together like they had training. They were in sync, slipping in and out of camera view like they had rehearsed it. The video reveals they were not just reacting in the moment, they had planned everything. Maybe even practiced. On the morning of the attack, Isaiah Chance and Sean Gathright were seen carrying a large bag, big enough to hold 2 rifles. These were the same weapons later used to kill Foolio. From late at night on June 22 into the early hours of June 23, they tracked Foolio like hunters, watching his every move, while he had no idea what was coming. Chance and Alicia Andrews were seen following Foolio to Teasers and Truth 18. Cameras caught Chance wearing a black hoodie with a red logo, clearly seen as he moved around, keeping close eyes on Foolio. The last part of this deadly plan began around 4:15 a.m. when Foolio left the club and headed to his hotel on McKinley Avenue. What Foolio did not know was that cars were quietly following him. One of the vehicles trailing him did not go into the hotel lot. Instead, they stayed across the street in purpose. This kind of move was not random. It was a smart, planned tactic to stay hidden while still keeping him in sight. That kind of planning is not what you expect from regular street guys. It looked more like something you'd see in a professional hit. At 4:34 a.m., the black Chevy Impala pulled into the hotel's parking lot and parked in a way that kept them out of view. Just 3 minutes later, the silver Chevy Cruze drove through the lot fast, circling Foolio's car twice before speeding off. That was a final check to confirm he was there and nothing would go wrong. Security cameras caught the whole thing. You can see how carefully they moved. The car passed by twice, giving everyone inside a clear look at Foolio's car, who was with him, and what might stand in the way. And then, at 4:38 a.m., it happened. 3 shooters jumped out of the Impala and walked toward the hotel. Multiple cameras recorded what came next, including a Tesla Sentry Mode camera. The footage created a full view of what happened during one of the boldest killings in recent memory. The shooters, Rashad Murphy, Sean Gathright, and Davon Murphy, came out armed and ready. Rashad fired a pistol with an extended magazine, spraying bullets on Foolio. Gathright and Davon used ARS tile rifles equipped with brass catchers. These devices are made to trap shell casings, which means they were trying to leave no physical evidence behind. That level of detail shows this was not a last-minute act. These were cold, calculated killers who had thought everything through, but they did not seem to care about innocent lives. The gunfire was so intense. 3 other people were hit during the shooting, though Foolio was the only one they came for. The scene was chaotic and horrifying. Camera footage showed the moment Foolio was trying to escape. He was in the passenger seat of a car that tried to drive off, but the shooters kept firing. They did not stop, even as the car moved. This was not about scaring anyone or making a point. This was a full-blown execution, done with total focus and deadly aim. The coroner later confirmed that Foolio died at the scene. The 3 others who were shot survived, but detectives quickly realized that this was not just a personal beef or revenge, it was part of a much bigger war. investigators believe members of the ATK and 1200 gangs came together to kill Foolio. His own crew, known as 6 Block, had long-standing beef with both groups. What police found after the murder shows just how deep this conspiracy went and how hard the suspects worked to hide what they did in the days that followed. In the end, it was the evidence they left behind that brought them down. They thought they had pulled off the perfect murder. They used brass catchers on their guns to hide shell casings, carefully parked their cars to avoid being spotted, and even used smart communication tactics to avoid being tracked. But what they did not count on was how advanced today's surveillance systems are. How many digital mistakes they would make after the shooting. Those small errors became major clues. From the start, police knew this was not some random street fight, it was a planned hit. So they treated it like a serious operation. Surveillance cameras played a huge role. Investigators followed the suspects on video as they trailed Foolio from one place to another. But the real breakthrough came from the digital trail they left behind: phone records, GPS signals, security footage. All of it painted a full picture of what happened, stretching from Jacksonville to Tampa and back. Officers. As the investigation moved forward, more connections were made to earlier shootings. The same rifle casings found in Gathwright's vehicle matched a homicide from May 23, and possibly even a shooting in October 2023, when Foolio was hit in the foot. This wasn't the first time they had gone after him. At the murder scene, 319mm Glock shell casings were recovered, but none from the rifles, because the attackers had used brass catchers to collect them. That detail showed how calculated the attack really was. These were not random shots in the heat of the moment. This was a targeted execution. Still, the investigation faced a major hurdle when one suspect disappeared. Davon Murphy managed to stay on the run for almost 7 months. During that time, he even joined a Twitter Spaces session on September 26, 2024, making threats and hinting at his location. One person in the chat told him, "Just turn yourself in, bro. You don't got no money. Your life is already over." Another said, "You're dead, Murphy." Murphy's decision to go live on social media while being hunted by federal agents was one of the most reckless moves anyone could make. He was not just running from local cops, he was being chased by the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, and law enforcement in multiple states, yet he chose to broadcast 2000s online in a platform that police watch closely. The first wave of arrests began in July 2024. On July 27, Jacksonville police arrested Sean Gathwright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews in a coordinated raid during a thunderstorm. Body cam footage captured the dramatic moment. SWAT teams took them in images that would soon be shown on news stations nationwide. Rashad Murphy's arrest came just days later. On July 30th, it turned into a tense standoff at the Collins Preserve Apartments in Jacksonville. Reports say he held a gun to his own head while on FaceTime with his girlfriend before finally surrendering. It was a powerful moment that showed how far things had spiraled out of control and how much pressure the suspects were under. The final arrest came on January 6, 2025. Davon Murphy was captured at an apartment complex on Label Street in Jacksonville by a joint team of SWAT, gang unit officers, and the U.S. Marshals. His arrest marked the end of a 6-month nationwide manhunt and closed the door on the investigation phase. What made this case stand out was how investigators combined old-fashioned police work with high-tech digital tools. From surveillance video to phone records, they used every tool available to track down the truth. But the most damaging part, the suspects told on themselves through texts, social media, and even police interviews. During questioning, Alicia Andrews admitted to being at Teasers, Truth 18, and the hotel parking lot. She said Chance was driving the silver Chevy Cruze while they tracked Foolio. She also confirmed that she let Chance use her phone to contact Gathwright, but then she claimed she had no idea a murder was being planned. She told police they were just asking about party entry fees, and that they ended up at the hotel because they got lost. Investigators caught her lying several times, especially when her story did not match what the security cameras had captured. At this point, it looks bad for all of them. The evidence is overwhelming. Will any of them be able to walk away from this? Only time will tell. And if you found this breakdown interesting, feel free to check out more stories like this by clicking the videos playing on your screen.